I'm well aware that my communication style is much different than most others. So yeah, I just kind of have to mold it, almost every time. I start by kind of
Mm.
taking a look at their target audience, who they're selling to, and kind of take it backwards from there.
Hey everyone, I'm Madison Bacalar, and welcome to our interview series called Behind the Byline, where we get a glimpse behind the curtain at the fantastic writers who contribute to our team. Joining me today is Chad Jensen. Welcome. Let's kick things off together. All right, first question. What got you into the world of content marketing?
Kind of a funny story. I know you might hear this a lot, but it sort of fell into it, honestly. I worked most of my life in all sorts of industries. I mean, I was a commercial diver for a number of years. I drove big trucks. I picked up garbage. I've done it all. So I was unhappy with punching a clock really every day in, day out. And my girlfriend's actually been a freelance copywriter for well over a decade now. And she saw how unhappy I was. And she's like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, well, why don't you try your hand at writing? Do you like to write? Yeah, I do. So she's just like, well, write me 2,000 words on whatever you want. And she had something to do that day and goes out and she reads it. She's like, you can do this. So that's kind of what started me into it. I didn't have a specific niche or anything like that. I just kind of grabbed whatever came my way. And yeah, everything just kind of snowballed from there.
That's awesome. Definitely not as maybe exciting as diving for a living, but still exciting in its own way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious, what tools and techniques do you use to conduct research and gather insights about the topic that you're writing about?
I'll be the first to admit that I'm not an expert in all fields. Absolutely not. So I do rely heavily on Google and Hrefs for keyword research and things like that. And just really kind of diving deep. If I don't know something, then I look at as many different sources as I can and try to collaborate, the same information coming from different sources just to make sure it's factual. Not to say that I also remember everything that I research, but you know yeah, that's probably not anything new, but that's kind of the way I do things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to remember everything. Our brains can only hold so much information, so
Yeah.
do the best you can. Is there anything you do to adapt your communication style when working with different customers or industries?
I'm well aware that my communication style is much different than most others. So yeah, I just kind of have to mold it, almost every time. I start by kind of
Mm.
taking a look at their target audience, who they're selling to, or who they're talking to, and kind of take it backwards from there, and then take a look at their brand voice and see what they've done in the past, and try to mimic it,
Mm.
as best as I can. I like to say that I'm pretty good at taking constructive criticism too. So if I say something or write something and it's not exactly perfect, I'm good at molding myself to make those tweaks as time goes on.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Being adaptable is
Yeah,
key when
yeah,
writing for different clients. They all want
yes,
different things, want to sound certain ways, so got to
absolutely,
be on your toes.
yes.
Okay, so how about this question? Is there a specific industry that you are passionate about writing for, or that you have the most fun writing for, let's say?
You know, over the past year or so, I found myself really enjoying writing about anything to do with the outdoor space. And when that combines with sustainability efforts, e-bikes, that's like a big trending thing right now that's tied to both. It's outdoor activities and sustainability kind of rolled into one. Really anything to do with the outdoors. I try to get out there and hike around and take pictures and do that kind of stuff as much as I possibly can. So anything that ties in with the things that I enjoy to do, yeah, that's what makes it fun.
Cool. Do you have an e-bike yourself?
I don't. I really, really want one so bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Been looking for a long time. Yeah, I'm almost ready to pull the trigger.
Awesome. Okay. Next question. How do you balance your personal and professional life?
I'm pretty good about that. So working from home, it's it's a blessing in disguise, I like to call it. So, you really have to time manage. You have to find out what works for you, what times of days, works for you to work, and that kind of thing. So I adhere to my schedule unless something pops up and I have a deadline that I need to meet. I try to get most of my work done in the earlier part of the day. And that way, I have the afternoon to go pick up the kiddo from the bus stop and that kind of stuff. And I try not to work on weekends, but I have found that Sunday's a great day to work. Most of your stuff's done for the week and nobody's really bothering you and blowing up your phone. So you have that time too. I think
Mhm.
it's just adhering to a schedule, and trying your hardest to stick to it.
Yeah. Do you often take breaks during the day? Like, do you need kind of a reset in between tasks or different projects?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I think that's kind of a crucial thing to do. I mean, if you sit there in your chair or in your stand up desk, whatever, and you stare at your screen for 9, 10, 12 hours a day, you will go nuts. You'll get burnt out and you'll quit the whole thing. You'll just throw your hands up and say, I'm done with this. So, yes, no,
Yeah.
if you get the least bit thirsty, hungry, got to use the restroom, whatever, take an extra 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that, and just kind of gather yourself again. Um, yeah, I think it's very, very important.
Nice. We're going to pivot a little to some more personal questions, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you are given a challenging assignment or topic that feels way over your head, is there anything special that you do to adjust your approach or at least put yourself in the right headspace when taking on topics that are outside your comfort zone?
The way I do it is I just have to, again, you have to get into that headspace. So if you don't understand something, that's easy to get frustrated, right? So just kind of put aside everything else, laser focus on that particular topic, and just concentrate on it. Do a lot more research before you even, put the pen to paper, as it's said. You just kind of, get into that industry. Just read about it a lot, and that tends to help me. Just focus on one thing at a time and just one step at a time, and it goes a lot smoother that way. Because if you look at something you don't understand in a zoomed out view, you'll get frustrated. You'll tell yourself you don't understand it, you will never be able to. So I think that's the way I do it. If I run into something that I've never even thought of before, and it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, definitely. That internal dialogue is hard to shut off
Yeah,
sometimes.
it really is.
Well, I would love to know a little about Origin, the e-commerce blog that you founded.
Yeah,
What inspired you to start it, and what kind of content do you provide? And where would you like to see it go from here?
yeah, absolutely. So when me and the co-founder started that a couple few years back, what started out, what our dream was to purchase a couple of apps and that were focused on Shopify. So as pieces of SaaS, they did different things and sell those as a subscription to Shopify store owners. And
Hmm.
that we learned really quickly on that we are not developers. We cannot cannot make it fly. So what we ended up doing was we still like the idea of focusing on e-commerce and helping e-commerce store owners, specifically Shopify. So we kind of morphed that into affiliate marketing. So that is what it is now, is just really helpful information to newer store owners, and we give recommendations on pieces of SaaS or apps that help their store, right? So that's if it's payment tracking apps or chargeback management kind of stuff, really sky's the limit. So that's the backstory on that one. Where I'd like to see it go is just really just gaining traffic. We haven't spent any money on advertising. It's all been organic. So really right now we're kind of toying around with the idea of going onto the Google ad space, and maybe getting it out that way. I would just like to see it reach a lot more people.
Very cool. I
Yeah.
love the concept.
Yeah.
Beyond that, What are your future goals or aspirations as a content writer and strategist?
I think the main thing is I just want to be the guy that anybody can throw any task at and know that Chad will get it done right on time. As long as I can maintain that reputation, I'll be ecstatic, and everything else as far as my like, money wise goals and things like that will follow, as long as I just keep on track with that. If somebody asks me to do something, I'm going to do it and take the constructive criticism and change if need be, and move on from there.
Nice. Yeah, I might have another writing opportunity for you just talking about the e-commerce
Perfect.
space. So
I'll take it.
look out for an email from me.
Cool.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely.
We'll be back with more interviews with all of these wonderful dynamic writers and industry leaders. To learn more about our amazing content specialists, visit clearvoice.com.